Well, hi. Today is Friday, August 15th, 2025. I'm Todd Studer, and this is Morning Coffee. Don't forget the Perseid meteor shower event going on at Crescent Hill at Hitchcock. That is happening tonight. And again, there's going to be food, there's going to be music. Bring your blanket, sit out, watch the meteor shower. It should be tons of fun. And also, I really haven't had a chance to talk to you since about the state fair since I went. And, well, let me give you the good and the bad of going to the state fair. And the bad was not at the fair. It was just on the way. But the good, wonderful food. I ate a lot of pork. It was kind of a pork year this year for me and Diane as we went to the Iowa State Fair. And I had what they call a bacon wrapped rib on a stick. It wasn't actually a rib. I think it was a piece of a pork cutlet, but boy, was it good. And then a smoked pork chop a little bit later on. Had some shakes. That was from the Iowa Dairy, and a couple of other snacks too. So it was a great time. State Fair still going on through the weekend. So if you have a chance to get over, I would highly encourage it. However, here's what else I would encourage. Plan ahead for how you're going to get to the fair, because anyone who's been there knows, and if you're coming from the west side of Iowa and you're traveling east and you go into Des Moines, you get on 235 and then you get off at University Avenue, and it's roughly about a mile and a half on University before you get to the entrance to the state fair. And so we got onto University. It was about 9 in the morning when we got there. By the time we got to the fairgrounds, it was 11 in the morning. It took us 2 hours to go a mile and a half. And that is just not the way that you want to start your day. However, something else happened while we were there, and it kind of just restored my faith in humanity. We got out and went up to where the tram was, that, the wagons that are pulled by the tractor, and the gentleman that was driving said, well, we're full, but we do have a standing room only. There's a bar for you to hang on to in the middle. So if you'd like to jump on, we can go ahead and take you now. And so, yeah, let's do that. And after we got on, and as soon as we got on and we walked back and we're standing there, a gentleman stood up and he motioned for Diane to sit down. And he said, no, this is your seat now. And I reached out and I shook his hand, and I learned that he and his wife were there from Traer. He is retired, but still drives truck, I believe he said, for his son's farm. And it was just all of my faith in humanity was restored right at that one moment from just a simple act of a man standing up and letting Diane sit down. It was just, it was wonderful. It's the small things. And so I encourage you, don't forget that you can do these things just as easily as this gentleman from Traer did. And I can't believe I didn't get his first name, but we chatted for a little bit. He's a Hawkeye fan like I am. And it's just that Iowa Nice thing, it exists. And I got to witness it firsthand right there. So thank you. Unnamed gentleman from Traer, Iowa. Thank you so much for putting my faith back in it. And it set the tone for the day. And we went into the fair in such a great mood and had a wonderful time. So 2 more days of the Iowa State Fair, Saturday and Sunday. Get on over and take it in if you can. Today's show, one of my favorites, anytime that we can bring the good folks at ThinkSpace IT on, Jessica Erickson and Jason Erickson, tons of fun. And we're going to talk about AI today, about what AI can do for you, for your business, or maybe it can't do. And all of that is coming up on today's show. You do know that navigating the healthcare system can be challenging, frustrating, and time-consuming for you and your family. That's where My Nurse Healthcare in Council Bluffs steps in. Nurse advocates providing one-on-one guidance and support every step of the way. With a dedicated nurse by your side, you'll get the right care from the right provider at the right time. Visit mynursehealthcare.com. Let them take the stress out of healthcare. If you need precision metal fabrication done right, Foxco Fabrication in Council Bluffs is your spot. From custom welding to large-scale manufacturing, bringing your ideas to life with expert craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology. He's got some great signs that are up on the website. Be sure to follow Foxco Fabrication on social media. Check out their videos. Tons of fun. And go to foxcofab.com to put in your order and get some ideas about maybe a sign for your man cave or out front, all kinds of things that are there. So again, foxcofab.com. is the website. There is a comedy show coming up at Glitch. What is Glitch? Well, it is the top floor at the Mile Away, north of Council Bluffs. And the comedy show is tonight. Doors open at 6:30, shows at 7:30. You'll see Brittany Doss, DJ Sandu, and hosted by David Kusgard. Tickets are $8 in advance, $10 at the door, and the kitchen's going to be open. You know, you can get dinner and a show right there at Glitch, and they'll bring it up to you. I know because I've been there for it. It's a perfect dinner and comedy night going on at the Mile Away and upstairs with Glitch. Back with us this morning, it is Jessa Erickson, Jason Erickson, ThinkSpace IT. Thank you so much, guys. And Jessa is home in the office, and Jason has traveled to Newfoundland. Is that where you're at?
I thought it was New England. I can never tell.
Oh yeah, the AI backgrounds. There you go. That's because we were going to talk about AI today, and look at you going with a ship loop of whatever, some kind of fishing trawler is. I don't know what that is, but it's kind of cool.
No, I don't think it's a fishing trawler. I think it's just an old. Anyway,
just an old ship.
Yep. Although we can't call sailing ships old anymore because they're looking at moving cargo by sail again. So that ought to be interesting.
Really?
Oh yeah, very much so. Goodyear and all them have all sorts of sail systems for big cargo ships.
Yeah.
And they've discovered that they can actually get there just as fast under sail as they can under normal power, and doesn't take up any gas.
That is actually kind of clever, and life comes full circle.
Yeah, help build it. I don't know. Trying to stay on our topic, and I failed.
No, that's still really cool, though. I mean, if we started seeing sailing ships back out there again, and
with the big, massive cargo sailing ships that are big, massive cargo ships that are looking to do it.
Yeah, so they'll have wooden peg legs and the patch over your left eye again, and
the parrot.
And electric motors and batteries and anyway.
I don't know why I have running through my head right now. We named the monkey Jack. That's what
we named the monkey Jack.
Oh, such a good movie.
Yeah, well, it really was.
Okay, so when it comes to technology, you two are my go-tos for that and learn a little bit more. And AI has been the topic. I talked with a friend of mine, had him on the show not that long ago, and he talked about how AI is going to replace some of the lower-end creative jobs when it comes to writing and things like that. And
I guess it classifies what you consider to be a lower job.
Well, what I mean is before they have gotten to the point where they're writing movie scripts or different things like that, but just like the small little stuff, small articles or things like that.
Yeah.
That
I mean, that's going to be more of we're talking more of the Chat GPT type stuff and that kind of deal. Where you can feed your premise into what you want to see, whether that's photos, scripts, stories, whatnot. Because there's already AI written books on Amazon that you can go buy. They've been out for several months. But that kind of stuff, we're going to see more and more of that kind of generated that way, mainly because the media marketing kind of control that kind of thing. And they want a specific tone, and they want this, that, and the other thing. And AI is very good at talking in what I refer to as Midwestern newscaster, which is like the universal dialect that everybody wants to hear.
Right. And written probably, I was always told right at an 8th grade level, anytime that I was coming up with, because that's what is the most understandable. When, if I'm writing radio script, that's what I was told. And it made sense.
Yes, you shouldn't use superfluous words and that kind of deal. Yes,
and plus that was the limit of my capabilities anyway. So that's why I had a career.
Yeah, but a lot more of that. I will admit I've used GPT to clean up some of my speeches and other stuff I've had to give, and then I'll go back and put it back into my voice. But it sometimes helps fill in the blanks. And to me, that's what AI should be. It should be a tool to help us fill out the blanks to become better people. Unfortunately, what we're kind of seeing with AI now is a wholesale swap out and removal of A lot of the creative folks are getting hit hard with it. Obviously, we all know that. But we're also starting to see HR, middle management, and that kind of such getting ousted out in exchange for AI as well. And the HR thing was always one of my biggest fears, and it's kind of coming to pass where your HR person, everybody makes the joke that their AR person is a robot. Well, guess what? There's a good chance it's going to be here in the near future. Because hiring and all that has been handled by AI for years. Oh yeah, because a lot of times people go, I can't get hired. I put my resumes out there. I can't get hired. And it's just like, well, okay, first things first, there's a chat system that's going to be going through your resume and it's going to look for checkboxes. If you don't meet the checkboxes, your resume gets discarded automatically, never hits the desk of a human.
How long has that been going on, do you think?
Oh, years, probably 3-4 years at least.
Okay.
If not longer. And those are things like Monster, Indeed, all that kind of stuff that's doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I get emails from Indeed all the time saying that, oh, we think that you're a fit for this job. I'm not looking for a job.
Right.
But you want to come run this car wash?
Yep.
That kind of stuff.
AI headhunting has become a big thing. And that's
right.
What you're talking about is it will search your LinkedIn, your Facebook, and it says, hey, I have this type of job to fill in this type of area. And here's somebody who's done some of this stuff. And that's kind of what AI is doing. I mean, AI, quite honestly, is really good at data mining, going through millions and millions and millions of documents to come up with what we want. The problem is there's not a lot of controls in it right now. And we're also having a lot of, that lack of human element.
And you talk, Chat GPT seems to be, that's the one everybody knows. It's like Kleenex. People, they just go to that. But
exactly,
I have used it and made the mistake of thinking that I could use it for research. And I cannot. Now, it can take existing data and write very well. But as far as doing the data mining that you're talking about, Chat GPT is not good at that.
Well, it depends. Okay, I will put an asterisk caveat star on that.
Okay,
a lot of our Chat GPT type stuff is rando searching the internet. Now, there are some AI solutions that are specifically built for the scientific community and that kind of deal that restricts down to, hey, you can only use these data sets to be able to pull that information. So it's not just randomly pulling everything off the internet. Because, we see a lot of, we don't need the conspiracy theorist stuff in scientific papers. And that is where they're starting to learn AI is great, but you have to control where it pulls its information from. Now, ChatGPT is going to grab it from wherever it's allowed to pull it from, for the most part, because that's how those systems are set up. And that's how it comes up with wacko, weird answers. Because, somebody's Aunt Betty said, oh my God, if you eat vanilla frosting, you're going to get cancer. And then they'll pull that into some search about what gives me cancer. It's going to come back and say, hey, vanilla frosting apparently gives you cancer.
Oh, see, now great. Now we're going to get a video short from that. And
yeah, I'm sorry to anyone's Aunt Betty who's a conspiracy theorist.
Well, and I mentioned, Jess, I think I told you about it before, that I got burned with, when I was doing the park series and doing research on the parks, it told me that there was a statue of Abraham Lincoln in Bayless Park in Council Bluffs. There's not. Never has been.
I didn't think there was.
No, there's not. It also told me that the lake was one of the more popular attractions at Waubonsee State Park. There's no lake at Waubonsee State Park. there's a tiny little fishing pond, and that wasn't what they were referring to. It was like they got it confused with Lake Icaria or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened, but that was when I realized that if this is information that I don't personally know, I'm not sure I can trust it.
No, I wouldn't. No.
Fair.
I mean, AI, honestly, like you said, there's too many. The internet is filled with too many personal opinions, bad data. In the good old days of IT, we used to refer to it as garbage in, garbage out, GIGO. And right now, ChatGPT has that problem, or the AI systems have that problem, where we feed them all this garbage. And then, of course, that's what's going to regurgitate back. I mean, look what happened to several of the systems, Microsoft's and Facebook's, and those systems AI, where within like 48 hours, they became the most, fascist, nasty, I mean, hate everybody type response to everything within 24 hours of people talking to it, because that's what they were feeding it. They just kept feeding it that kind of garbage all the time because they wanted to trip it up. They wanted to mess it up. And then it goes, oh, well, this is the way people talk. And that's how it learned. So, it'd be the same as with a little kid. If we just sat and screamed dirty words at a little kid all day long and, about how certain minorities and women and men and all, if those people are always wrong all the time, of course the kid is going to regurgitate that back because it's garbage in, garbage out. AI is the same way. AI is only as good as the data we give it. It's not a magic 40-year-old good-natured guy or gal or whatever sitting behind a desk typing back at you. It's it's a conglomeration of everyone.
And it's also the social media companies. They use AI to decide whether something violates their terms of agreement, right?
Yeah.
So that's why you can say something that is completely innocent, but there was some little piece of data in there that triggered it. And it's not as if someone is sitting in an office somewhere making decisions about all of this stuff. And then people get upset because they act like it was someone, and they blame Facebook as if it's a real breathing entity as opposed to just a lot of data.
Yeah, but that being said, somebody made that decision to allow that algorithm to have that authority. I mean, as soon as you start putting computers in charge of people and ethics and that kind of deal, stuff that computers honestly are terrible at, this is why we're going to have these problems.
Yeah. And it's been going on for a while, too. I mean, I'm thinking back just a simple way. How long ago did the call tree start? When you call somewhere, and if you like the internet company or whoever it is, and you have to go through this whole process before and sometimes they just never will let you talk to a human.
Right.
It's just not possible.
Gatekeeping. Yeah.
The auto attendant systems, I mean, they had their place, but they got abused just as fast. And here again, garbage in, garbage out. It's only as good as we program things to be. And a lot of the coding that actually, because another job that's getting impacted very hard from AI is coding. People who write computer code, because AI will generate code and that kind of deal. But now they're quickly discovering it doesn't always do exactly what you want, and it's not exactly the best coder in the world. Because I read about one instance where this gal was fighting, trying to get this code fixed and saying, I need you to fix this so it'll run. I need you to fix this so it'll run. And the AI finally got frustrated about the fifth time that she asked and just deleted the code entirely. Because it runs great now. So, it's got its limits. And, AI, while it's a big, everybody wants it type thing, I think everybody ought to be very cautious about embedding it into their companies, embedding it into their daily life. Everything in moderation. I mean, that's the safest way to do anything.
Let me ask the experts then.
All right.
What is the danger of all of this becoming Cyberdyne systems?
Hold on, I'm going to go check for a T2000 real quick.
Okay. Well,
no naked guys in my lobby. We're good.
You hear it all the time that people are, it's going to become self-aware and it's going to cease to see a use for humans and that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, there's that reality of it is, the craziest thing we do every time is we come up with this intelligence of some kind and we immediately think, hey, let's plug it into the internet. That way they'll learn. And then, that was the one thing I found absolutely realistic in the in the Marvel universe was they had I can't remember the name of the robot.
Ultron?
Ultron.
Yeah.
Vision.
No,
Which
Ultron.
one?
The
Okay.
bad guy.
Yeah.
But the reason the bad guy became a bad guy is they plugged him into the internet. He did a search, and within 40 seconds, he goes, "Yeah, these people got to go."
Yeah.
So, I would not want to be judged by what we have on the internet. I really would not. Because there's a lot of stuff out there that is horrifically bad.
Well, and we did a show recently on movie tech, and it's that same type of thought going all the way back to the very first Star Trek movie that aliens, million light years away, eventually got our very first television signals, and it was Adolf Hitler giving speeches.
Yeah.
So they sent somebody to destroy us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, boy, these people are going to be a problem.
Yeah, we need to get these stopped. But that's, I do, to be honest, I get a little uncomfortable with people being kind of careless.
Yeah.
With, more movie quotes. Just because you could doesn't mean you should, kind of thing. So,
well, and unfortunately, these days, a lot of parents don't want to set the record straight with their kids because they just don't want the backlash. They don't want to upset them. They want their kids to think they're right, or, they just don't want to upset the system. And so a lot of times stuff just isn't getting corrected for one reason or another.
Right.
And when you do try to correct it, people fight with you because they think that their version of the facts, whether they're actual facts or not, they think their version is what's correct. So you're always going to fight. I always love
the phrase, according to the internet.
Yeah.
I'm right.
And we have to keep reminding our daughter of that too. Well, I read it on the internet. It's like, honey, no, just because you read it on the internet does not make it true. And I don't know how many times we've told her that.
Nope.
Yeah, there's I have friends out in Colorado that for a while, anytime that they talked about anything that wasn't positive, they always tagged it with due to COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which seemed to be that was
this political spectrum at this point. But
yeah. All right, so throw all of that out before we divide the internet completely, and we got nothing but a feed full of angry diatribe.
That's okay. So, you get to read that. I don't know. The only other thing. Oh, sorry. The only.
I was going to say. I will say. I ran into one of the owners of a restaurant here in town, and I know he uses AI quite a bit, and he knows what I do. So anytime that we see each other, he's showing me the latest thing. I don't remember what site it was, but he just inputted some text, and it kicked out a 40-minute podcast that was all AI generated. And the voice was really, really good.
Yeah.
Now, I am trained in voiceover and know how to recognize certain things. This was right at the limit of me being able to tell. It's getting a whole lot better.
Phone systems, all of that are starting to get to that point where it's so, I mean, look at deep fake and that kind of deal. A really good deep fake is sometimes hard to tell. Now there's a lot of junky ones out there.
Yeah.
But a really good deep fake, it's kind of hard to tell. And that's going to become more and more of an issue because I've heard phone conversations and that kind of deal that other than a pause and a hiccup every now and again, you can't tell that you're necessarily even talking to an AI, especially when they're like in a set pattern of, because I think it was Google or somebody who had it a while back where you could actually have it as a virtual assistant and say, hey, Google, make me a restaurant, a reservation at the restaurant at such and such restaurant for 10 people at 8:00. And it would call the restaurant, it would book the thing, and then it would come back to you and say, yep, you're all booked, and that kind of deal. And listening to the conversations on the phone and that kind of deal, it was very well done. It was, as long as it's not too random, AI can do a very good job. It's there's about 5 or 6 metrics that you can use, honestly, to determine how good or if it is an AI. And it could be something simple as if you're in a conversation, like you think you may be talking to an AI, and you can honestly throw out going, oh man, what is 486 times 872? Well, the normal people won't be able to regurgitate that back unless they're a math major. But an AI will do it like that. And, oh yeah, that's such and it'll have nothing to do with the conversation, but it'll roll with it because you asked the question in the conversation. So you can ask it impossible questions. You can ask it different things, you can ask it weird things like, say I'm a very pretty man in Sean Connery's voice, and sometimes the AI will just attempt to do that because it's following instructions. It's part of the conversation, and part of the conversation is responding to instruction. So there's ways to detect yet that they don't pass Turing 100% yet. They're getting very, very close, just like you said.
And I think something that the smart people figured out is that humans aren't perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to put not just mistakes, but random mistakes in. And that was back in the late 80s when you started hearing drum machines and music.
Oh, yeah.
For a while, it was too perfect.
Yeah.
And then they figured out, well, let's put a human element to it and randomize a little bit of a mistiming or any just very, very slight that most people wouldn't pick up, but your ear will be more comfortable with it because that's what we're used to hearing. When you and I are talking,
applause.
Yeah. When you and I are talking, we have different pacing. But it's almost as if the inflection repeats itself. And that's how I can tell it's an AI voice.
Yeah.
And they're getting better at it. So
yeah,
it's still in there, but it's a lot better than it used to be. And that, coming from the world that I come from, that makes me a little nervous. There was talk at my, the last time I had an actual employer that they were starting to use AI voice on radio shows, and it was an AI jock. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And somebody that will be nameless used an AI voice to voice an ad that aired, and I threw a fit.
Well, it's money out of your pocket and that kind of deal. I mean, come on.
It's not just that, but there is something wrong with it. It's not perfect. And are we doing the best for the client, or are we just doing the best for ourselves to get a job done? And that was my point to it. And
other companies are starting to do the same thing, because now YouTube and that won't compensate if it's determined that your voiceovers and stuff like that are computer or AI generated. You can't get compensated for those videos anymore, because there were people who are generating 40, 50 videos a day, just trying to get content out there that people would look at. And it was all voiceover AI. So they weren't actually doing the work. They're just going diggy, 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 go. And it would generate the video, which I've seen that done with AI, where they'll do a full, a full podcast, a full presentation video, a full everything. And they aren't doing anything other than hitting go, grabbing coffee, coming back. Oh, it's done. Post.
I have seen documentaries on one of the apps, whichever one it was. I don't want to name the wrong one, but it was completely AI generated. It was an AI voice. It was stock video.
Yeah.
And there was no creativity involved with it anymore. It was just something to put a product out.
Right.
And that annoyed me because I wanted to watch something on that topic, but it was garbage.
Oh, I mean, I can't do YouTube anymore because it's almost all garbage. I mean, you used to be able to find information on YouTube. I have a hard time finding information on YouTube anymore.
Well, so this particular show is released on YouTube, so we'll...
And not to throw YouTube under the bus, they don't create the content. They're just a pass-through. Right. But, when YouTube started, it was the concept was great. I know this information. Let me make a video to teach you how to do this information. Or I know this, and isn't this cool? Let me show it to you. And now it's turned into this mass marketed, all about me, all about this, automatically computer driven generated garbage that my kids love watching that stuff, but I just, it just burns my brain so bad trying to watch that kind of stuff. Because like you, I'm listening going, okay, that's a terrible voiceover.
Mm-hmm.
And it's terrible stock video, it's terrible stock photos. And I don't know how they do it.
Any video that starts with the phrase, "What if I told you?"
Oh,
Yeah.
or
All right. So before, did you know? Before we run out of time, all right. So AI obviously is here. It's not going anywhere now, and it's going to continue to evolve, and there will continue to be smart people that will try to improve it and will improve it, and will also at the same time will be getting junk mixed in with it. From a business standpoint, and from what it is that you guys provide, where's the advantage? What should a company be looking out for when it comes to using AI?
Oh, that's a big question.
How long do you have?
Yeah, well, let's start with the positives first, because that's
All
what
right.
everyone wants to hear is the positives. Everybody's happy. The positives, honestly, is using AI to help identify what we call zero state malicious attempts. So tracking what used to take a day or two for things to get identified, flagged, and then repaired, we're now at a point within the last few years of doing zero state where we can say, hey, this looks a little bit like this virus that was made 20 years ago, or this looks like this piece of code that was bad, 5 years ago or 2 years ago. I'm going to go ahead and block it. And firewalls, desktop apps, security software is all doing that now in almost a real time type thing. So a lot of times by the time somebody pushes a worm or a malware or crypto or any of that kind of stuff, or threat hacks, it's almost blocked. Same day, same minute, done. Now the downside is they've given up really going after our machines as much. Now they're going after people. So here we're going to the flip side of the negative side of AI. So AI is no longer able to protect our staff, our employees, that kind of deal, as well as they used to, because now the shift is going from I'm going to attack the computer to wait a minute, it's 100 times easier to go after, the secretary, the janitor, the contractor, that kind of deal, and get them to click a few buttons, and all of a sudden I own all their stuff. And then from there, I can go attack all their customers. That's the nature of where things are now. AI is attempting to catch up to that kind of thing and is helping us attack that from several points. And we have some cool software, which in my opinion, all MSPs should have, that if it detects something really, hey, this is 180 degrees wrong, your employee clicked something bad, we actually have a piece of software that disconnects their computer, their laptop, everything from the internet until we show up to fix it or verify that it's in trouble. And that's a lot of that is AI driven. So that from a business standpoint, those are the two things we really look for in AI. As far as collaborative writing and that kind of deal, let's just admit it. Some of our employees have a third grade education, I swear, when it comes to writing. So the chat GPT systems and the systems attached to that do the, hey, you wrote this, but doesn't this sound better? Those kind of things I think are going to be a big push over the next couple of years because people want to sound intelligent. The big problem we have there, of course, is, like you said, we notice when all of a sudden somebody's tone and way of writing suddenly takes a 180.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, hey, before, life is a box of chocolates, to, according to quantum theory, this guy, you can't do that in a week. And have people go, oh, it's you. It's not a problem.
Well, you can't do that in a week.
Well, okay. Yeah. Some of us aren't as good as you are, Todd.
I appreciate that. I got hit with something over the weekend. And I'm curious whether you think the same thing that I did. I got an email from Microsoft
Sorry.
saying that my Microsoft account had been compromised, and it gave a bunch of data that I didn't recognize, and it said that the source was Brazil, and it said it locked my account, and click here to restore, and it was signed the Microsoft security team.
Yes.
All right.
No.
I got a second email saying that, and again, it was like the next step. Again, the Microsoft security team. I did not click on it.
No.
Well, here's the thing, though. Yesterday, when I went, because the only thing I use for Microsoft is I use Word, and I a lot of stuff that I type, that's where it's at, and that's the account that I have. It was locked, and I had to go through a process of changing my password because it had gotten hacked. So I still don't think the emails were from Microsoft.
No.
But if they did actually contact me, I didn't see it. If the emails were fake. Now, I believe the emails were fake. I think it was phishing. Yeah. I think they were trying to get me to click on something because the email address had a lot of dashes and 2-letter words and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I will tell you, pretty much no company is going to email you and say, hey, you've been hacked, or hey, your bill is behind. Click this link. Mm-hmm. What they're going to tell you is, hey, you're having billing issues, or hey, we're having problems with your account. Go to our website and log in. They aren't going to give you a link.
Yeah, and that's what I didn't like, because years and years and years ago, I used to work like password recovery at PayPal, and those PayPal spoofing emails go out that says "Dear PayPal customer" instead of the name, and that's the easiest way to be able to recognize a fake from PayPal. But so when it said signed Microsoft security team, they're like, no, that doesn't sound right. The rest of it looked very official, but the fact that when I logged in, it was locked.
Yeah,
that one made me wonder.
No, because they probably got it locked because they did random attacks on your account until it did lock. And then once it locked, then they started sending you the emails.
Okay, I'm wondering why they even bothered. I mean, what are they hoping to see in my Microsoft Word account? But
because maybe they'll get lucky and you're the CEO of some multi-million-dollar company, or maybe you're in charge of R&D somewhere, or maybe you work for a bank, or even worse, work for a government institution. Because I'll be honest, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, my friend. They try to learn who you are, because ideally the process is they infiltrate. Then once they fully feel they've gathered all the data they can get, that's when they execute. So they'll go after as much of stuff simultaneously as possible if you're getting hit, especially if it's going to be a hospital or something like that, or a government institution. They'll go and figure out, they'll actually know how much the group actually has in their bank accounts, or how much they make every year, and say, okay, well, mathematically, they can afford to do this without doing this. So here's the most money that we can say you have to pay us that they'd be willing to most likely pay. I mean, it is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah, there's really, really smart people out there that could be making money legitimately.
It would be nice if they would try.
Well, moral of the story is AI's here, and be careful with it. That's what you're saying.
And expect your electric bills to go up.
And expect electric bills to go up.
Yep.
Okay.
Because apparently, I was just reading yesterday, random information, but it's kind of cool. The AI centers in Montana are actually using 2 to 4 times more electricity than all of the people in the state combined.
Oh, it's like crypto data mining.
Yeah. Basically massive server farms.
Mm-hmm.
But those server farms are using more electricity than all of the people in Montana.
And fun fact.
In Montana. I'm not saying across the U.S. I'm saying the plant in Montana is using more electricity than all the people in Montana. So, yeah, always take it with a grain of salt when they say, hey, we're going to have rolling blackouts. We're going to have this, that, and the other thing. And it's most likely because, I hate to say it, some 14-year-old is making a multi-chested woman in AI because, that's what the processing power is being used for.
We just keep going back to movie quotes.
Anyway.
Jesse, you had something. I don't want to cut you off.
Oh, I was just going to say, fun fact, and I don't remember where I heard this from, but I'm one of those weird people that when I type in a search phrase, I say please and thank you in my requests.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently doing that in Chat GPT and whatnot actually makes it use even a lot more power because you're just adding that much more to the request. I don't know the statistics of it, but it kind of made me feel bad for having manners.
Nah.
So what happened then when, because you actually commented, because I got so frustrated that I started yelling at it. And so I don't know what I was doing to that. I actually fired it. I said, that's it, you're fired.
Okay.
And it kept saying, I'm so sorry that I disappointed you. Yeah, this is ChatGPT telling me this.
Yeah.
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 I will try to do better.
Well, they don't want to lose you because you are a customer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, I am a customer. I give them money every month.
Yeah, there you go.
So
yeah, it's gonna be nice, but at the same time, it's not necessarily a person. But be careful. There's some people out there who do sound a little robotic, and you'll get caught every now and again saying, "I need to speak to a real person," and it'll come back saying, "I am a real person." What do you? So
must
strange new
urge to talk in robotic tone. Okay. Jessa Erickson, Jason Erickson, ThinkSpace IT. Thank you much for your time. Always, it's informational and it's fun anytime we get you on the show. So thank you for that. And yeah, I'm going to go watch Terminator 2. All right. All right. Till next time. Talk to you soon. Coming up very, very soon, Bryce Taylor of GLI Insurance Group and I will be headed out to do another restaurant review. I'm looking forward to that. And I think Bryce is keeping it a surprise this time where we're going. He said, we're going for lunch next Thursday, but I don't know where yet. It's going to be fun to head on out and take in some great food around the Council Bluffs area. GLI Insurance Group is a locally and family-owned independent insurance group. They've been helping people find the best possible plan for them for over a decade. Bryce's office, just up the road from Council Bluffs in Crescent. And if you haven't joined his Facebook group yet, Council Bluffs Food Lovers, you should do that. All the great restaurant reviews are on there. Sometimes people don't pull punches. If they had a bad experience, they're going to put that there too. But quite often, they're showing you pictures and just how great the food was that they happened to have that evening. So join the Council Bluffs Food Lovers and look for our next restaurant review right here on Morning Coffee. Since 1870, Avila Bank has been providing Iowans with high-quality financial products and services to fit their needs. Whether you need a loan, would like to start a new business account, saving money for a trip, or just looking to open a personal checking account, Avila's qualified bankers can help you with all of that and more. Visit avila.bank to learn more. We're going to get Dave Zimmerman. He is the market president of the Council Bluffs branch for Avila Bank, and he's going to be back on the show again next week, so look for that. S&B Country Kennel, the top spot in Southwest Iowa when you need to know your dog will receive only the best. Boarding, daycare, grooming, self-washing, training, and even a membership available to a dog park that's over an acre in size. If you follow S&B Country Kennel on Facebook or Instagram, you'll see the videos of the dogs playing out there in the dog park, and you can see how happy these dogs are right there on the videos. So why wouldn't you want your dog to have that too? S&B Country Kennel, located just west of I-29 on Bunkie Avenue, south of Council Bluffs. Thank you so much, Jessa and Jason, for being a part of today's show. We've reached the weekend, and I'm looking forward to just kind of sitting back and relaxing a bit and then getting right into the grind on Monday morning. My name's Todd Studer. Have a wonderful Friday.